Super League basketball is levelling up British youths. This isn't just a league, it's a movement you can feel and see in the stands. From the first tip to the final buzzer, the story is written. Every drive, every shot, and every moment. Rivalries run deeper, games hit harder. One pass, one dunk, everything can shift. Legacies aren't given here, they're earned. New stories are ready, and new champions are coming. Season 2 is here. Stand tall for British basketball.
Boardman Raffit with a steal at the other end. Out to Evie, and Evie, knocks it down! It's a one-point game! Has space from three.
Wow!
Boardman Raffit cannot be stopped! 33 points!
Now Lawrence, 2v1, decisions, great decision! Wow! Wow!
Evie, back out to Nduku again for three. Victor Nduku! What a performance down the stretch!
Look at the help side here from Lions. Keno, step back three. My goodness gracious! It's Keno Lilly Jr.'s world mark, and I'll say it again, we're just living in it.
Here we go! Oh no! Oh my gosh! What a play from Timothy Agwonkwo, the play of the season!
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Mattioli Arena in Leicester. We've got some Super League basketball for you tonight as the Leicester Riders take on the Surrey 89ers. Big game in the battle for playoff places. Not only the win and the 2 points that it brings in the table up for grabs, but also the head-to-head winner of this game takes the tiebreaker should these two teams finish level, and that is still a distinct possibility. It's the Leicester Riders against the Surrey 89ers here in Leicester. Daniel Ratledge and Anthony Rowe with you for this one, and a lot riding on this game. Away team has won all 4 meetings between these teams today. Does that give Surrey the edge?
I don't know, Dan, but the way listening to you describe what's going on here, usually we're fighting with the top of the table or we're fighting for the bottom places in the playoffs. This is right in the middle of the pack, and I think this is the most clustered, most unpredictable, exciting area of the league so far. Which way this game's going to go, I'm supposed to be an expert, Dan. I'm none the wiser.
Well, there's a lot of action this weekend on DAZN here in Super League basketball. 4 games tonight. Bristol taking on London, Newcastle and Manchester going toe-to-toe, and in Sheffield, Caledonia trying to keep their playoff hopes, very slim hopes, alive. And then on Sunday, Surrey against Newcastle, Bristol go up to Manchester, Sheffield down to London, and Leicester have the long old trip to East Kilbride at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. With all these games, it could mean a lot of movement in the standings over the weekend, that's for sure. Here's how it is coming in. You can see Leicester behind Surrey, but if they were to win today, will move above them, have the tiebreaker, and have a 2-game advantage in the loss column. So huge opportunity for them. Surrey, they can create a 2-game gap if they win. It's all on the line. Earlier, I caught up with the 2 coaches to see what their thoughts were ahead of tonight's game. Well, Rob, looking at the practice behind you there, looks like 1 in, 1 out tonight.
Yeah, we got X in here tonight. He's been around for a while now, so he'll be excited to play. We're looking forward to seeing him out on the floor, but Tamua Sulaiman not playing tonight and questionable for the rest of the weekend. So, yeah, we figured, we thought that we were going to have, a few guys on the bench today, but yeah, we're still down bodies.
And what does Xavier bring to the team?
Yeah, he's a good all-around player, and I think that's what jumped off the video for me when I watched him play was he can shoot, no question. He can post, he can pass. It's a really good feel for the game. Real throwback player. Reminds me of somebody from the 80s and the 90s. That passing ability is unique nowadays.
And you've had some pretty interesting games, to say the least, with Surrey this season. What are you expecting tonight?
Well, they're good. I mean, I think, watching video this week, you look at them and you go, they're a tough team to guard. He runs so many good offenses for him, Lloyd. And, yeah, we got to make sure that we keep them out of transition and easy baskets. I think, when they're able to get out in the open floor and score, they're super dangerous because that half-court offense is tough to deal with.
Good luck in the game. Well, Lloyd, you didn't play Leicester that long ago, and yet they look a very different team from that team here tonight.
Yeah, obviously some changes going on. Something for us to navigate there, but it's been some crazy games against Leicester this season, so I'm sure this will be another one.
Yeah, you will have had to look back at the game film this week on that one. I'm sure the ending there wasn't bearing repeating for you.
Yeah, I avoided that. The last 10 seconds or so was, some frustration for us. But yeah, obviously look back on the game. Leicester are a great team. We know that the DNA of Rob coach teams. So expect this team to be the same, even with some different faces now.
And you've come here a couple of times and got some good results so far this season.
Yeah, like I said, been some crazy games. We went down heavy in one of them and came back and won. So yeah, they've always seemed to be entertaining encounters with Leicester. Hopefully, today won't be as crazy as those ones.
And the head-to-head on the line, given where you both sit in the table, really important.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? So, we have to win today to be able to win that. So that's on our mind. But right now, every game is like that. With 5 to go, every game really counts. A lot of the games that we're playing to end the season against the teams in and around us. So, everyone really matters.
Good luck in the game. Let's get into a couple of guys to watch out for tonight. Starting at the Surrey end of the floor, Keno Lilly Jr. is one of the great shooters/scorers in this league.
He is, and he's been a problem for all defenses all season long. This is a rookie graduate out of Brown University. He's much like most Ivy League graduates. He's a very intelligent basketball player, but I think his superpower is his creation of his offense. He's able to create shots for himself. He isn't a guard that needs to come off several screens. He does it off the dribble. He has a very quick first step, and he's able to pop up on a dime and knock down a shot. When you say sharpshooter, Keno Lilly Jr. is the definition. 46% from the three-point line, which is unbelievably potent.
Well, given he's not standing in the corner, just shooting threes, he's creating. At the other end of the floor, how impressive was Keedy Johnson's debut for Leicester here, home debut last weekend?
Oh, it was excellent, and he was the talisman and a big piece of the puzzle as to why they had that amazing victory over his former employer, Bristol Flyers, last week. He came into that game as well, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, so he was a guy that really controlled it. And when I say controlled, he had a controlled aggression in the game as well. He didn't force the issue. He waited for the game to come to him. His numbers were healthy. He was 3 for 6 from the three-point line. Ordinarily, we know Keedy Johnson to be an attacker, create for his teammates, but if he's shooting the ball like this is great news for the Leicester Riders.
Well, that is certainly what they will be hoping to see more of here today, and they obviously have another debutant, Xavier Bledson, who wasn't registered to play last weekend despite being here, is able to play today, but as Rob Paternostro said, Tomiwa Suleiman out for the Leicester Riders, so they get one in, one out. It feels like the story of the last month or so for them.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dan. Rob Paternostro just can't catch a break and get a full roster. But you know what? We've seen this, this depleted or short-handed roster, it creates some amazing performances. So let's see if they can create another one here in the Mattioli Arena.
Well, they have got some numbers on the bench for sure. They haven't needed to wheel Ampro out yet, fresh off his latest knee surgery. But this is the starting 5 that we go from. And we've talked about Johnson. It's interesting that he's going to bring Bledson off the bench, not throwing him straight in there, sticking with the 5 that's been doing well.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting take on it, but Rob Paternostro may have seen something in Bledson too where he can inject offense off the bench. That is an area, of course, where bench points have been quite low in production there, so maybe Bledson is the answer for that one.
Well, the bench points were low before they had their issues,
yes,
so they could certainly do with a few along the way. This is the start lineup for the Surrey 89ers. Hayden Ling not going to play tonight with a knee injury, but you look at this team and you think there's plenty of offense in that starting 5. There's good British talent coming off the bench as well. They've got a lot of pieces, Surrey.
They do. I think you've got everything you need to be a contender in this league. You know, so they've had some games not go their way this year. I think defensively they've had some not so great performances, but you cannot doubt that this is a very, very dangerous offensive team.
Well, the Fives making their way out onto court, and obviously Leicester, much documented issues trying to reload on the fly. Nobody's ever lost 4 starters in March before, and what you would normally think is, well, you're going to have to practice a lot because you've got new guys, you've got to learn the plays and all of that. But of course, when you're down bodies, you can't even do that.
No, and I think the most impressive thing is, even if you don't look at the results, it's the performances, and the performances, had there been one play here or one shot made there, Leicester Riders would have picked up some significant wins during that period. This team has remained competitive despite the adversity they faced.
Oh, but boy, did they need that win last week just to get some reward for that competitiveness. And, well, they are the one team that hasn't yet, of the top 8, booked their playoff place. Mathematically, they can still be caught and passed by Caledonia, but not if Leicester win tonight. That will put that one to bed, but they will have eyes on slightly higher up the table if they can. Nobody wants to finish 8th, that's for sure. You'd rather not finish 7th either. The higher you can get, the better, and there is an opportunity for everybody. I think there's just a bit of spillage just in front of the Surrey bench, which is just being wiped up. I think somebody threw a bottle down and the lid came off. But we're okay to go, so we can ball this up and we can get it underway. And Leicester, all in black, will get the first offense of the contest. Evie, Nduku in the corner. Backing down small, getting all the way to the rim, is blocked by Graham. Out of bounds, it's a Leicester ball. They only have 3.8 to deal with.
Good help defense there from Michael Graham. Came across there and knocked that ball out of bounds.
Evie to inbound. Gets it to Johnson, hand in his face. It comes off the back iron. Quickly down court come the Niners and laid home by Tyron Lawrence.
Unbelievable quickness there. All of a sudden they've got possession and then they're laying it up down the other end of the floor. Unbelievable pace there.
Evie, Martin was thinking he was shooting. It ends up being turned over. They're running quick again. Lawrence goes up high, but short.
Good decision there from Victor Nduku. He didn't jump, he just extended his arm, made himself as big as possible, and that was enough to stop the basket.
Paul Marafe to Nduku. Can't get Leicester's first score, but Martin does.
Well, Martin looks active early, which is good news for the Leicester Riders. Picks up an offensive rebound there and quick putback.
Polite. Back to Lawrence. Graham comes up to the high post. 5 on the clock. Polite. Lawrence puts it on the floor, gets it away in time off the mark. Evie with the rebound. Evie going quick, getting all the way to the basket, too strong. And Surrey looking to run again. Here's Small. Small is fouled by Martin. Clumsy one, basket will count. He'll go to the line for the bonus.
Yeah, good push again from Surrey 89ers. As soon as they regain possession of the ball, they are out to the races. You see Polite here. Great through pass there to Isaiah Small with a tough finish. But as you say, Dan, I think that's one of those ones where Nate Martin has to be a little bit more disciplined and just let that ball go.
Well, there have been some crazy meetings between these two teams this season. Obviously, Surrey coming from that massive deficit here earlier in the season. One of the all-time great comebacks in top-flight British basketball history. Leicester, an almost even more remarkable comeback from the last couple of seconds in the previous meeting down at the sports park, where they look beaten and somehow won by 3. turned it around in the last 18 seconds from down 4 to up 3 in less than 10 seconds.
Still to this day, one of the most remarkable things I've seen, including all the March Madness in the NCAA.
Yeah. Lobbed into Graham. Here's Polite. Graham rolling to the basket, not loose, and that will be a Leicester ball. Good hands from Keedy Johnson. But I guess we talk about that comeback. Surrey will remember that. They'll want to right that wrong.
I think so, Dan, because, you know, everyone really thought.
Oh, tough finish from Bournemouth Rafay. He'll go to line for a bonus.
Wow, it's got to the point now where you're not surprised. You just think he's going to score every time he attacks the rim, whether he's in gear 5 or gear 2. He has that ability to just finish under contact.
Well, it was the Surrey game that was his first breakout, if you like. Spencer Johnson obviously sort of stole the headlines, but he was the supporting cast, and he's had some big games since then.
Well, he's coming off a 24-point game last week here against the Bristol Flyers, so his confidence should be high.
Small travel, lost his feet there as he was stepping through. He's not happy about it.
Yeah, it's a case of happy feet there. We've all been there as big men too. When you get a mismatch down low, you want to make your move really quick because you know a double's potentially coming. I think he just lost the balance there and resulted in a travel.
Johnson drops back for 3. Looked on the near side like that went in, but it was actually short. Lobbed up towards Small, who's fouled by Evie. I think that will be an on-the-floor foul because he never had the ball. So you can't be shooting without the ball. So I don't think he's going to get shots for that. It is on the floor. Even though it's a lob for an alley-oop, because he hasn't got the ball when the foul is committed, he can't be shooting without the ball. A little nod from Lloyd Gardner, who understood the rule.
That makes you happy, Dan, doesn't it?
Yeah, when a coach knows it, it's always good. Here's Small, he's trying to get those points anyway. Graham with the offensive rebound, puts it back.
That's another thing that Surrey have got as well as Michael Graham, both ends of the floor. He will be an impact player in the key there. Nice offensive putback from him there.
Evie drops it to Martin, who spins to the middle and hooks it in for 2.
Good start from Nate Martin. I like his activity so far. Remember, he's picked up an early foul, so you would want him to avoid putting himself in a situation where he maybe puts up a second and having to play reduced minutes.
Broken up by the foot of Bournemouth Rafay, so it'll be sideline ball, shot clock at 14. Into Lawrence, back to Polite. Lilly running the baseline. Still Polite. Shot clock at 5. Small is going to get 3 shots for that one. He made sure the ball was going up that time. He's still not happy about something, Small. He's complained on the previous one. He wasn't happy about that one either.
Oh, it's a cardinal sin, isn't it? Cardinal sin. Shot clock winding down as well. Small really didn't have a lot of options. He was essentially double teamed there on the perimeter. And yet he comes away with an opportunity here to get 3 points.
First one is good. He's shooting 70% from the free throw line this season, Isaiah Small. Five points to his name thus far. And he makes that 6. Johnson. Martin, top of the key. Driving strong. Can't finish. The tip doesn't go either. And Graham with the rebound. Lawrence just lost the handle for a second, able to recover. Polite into the key, back out again. Looking to attack again, gets past Nduku and lays it home.
Oh, nice creation there from Polite. Just took the ball right at Victor Nduku.
Ooh, there was a foul by Lilly, and then there's a secondary foul by Polite. And if there's a foul's committed after a foul, that can be called unsportsmanlike. The referees are just having a conversation about it. The original foul was a hold, and there is an unsportsmanlike foul on Lilly. What happens is once a foul is called, any foul after that foul is automatically an unsportsmanlike. You cannot commit a foul after a foul. So I think the referees have got that spot on.
Wow, great recognition there from yourself, Dan. That's excellent. And referees on the ball today and understanding exactly what that meant.
Well, it was one of them. It's not something you see very often.
No.
But as soon as I saw the secondary bit, I was thinking, oh, he's in trouble here. So, Bournemouth Raffet is at the line. He's shooting the fouls for obviously the unsportsmanlike. The original foul was on the floor. So it's only 2 free throws, and then it's a sideline ball. And he makes them both. Well, that's 2 very unusual calls that our officials have nailed straight on both times. Here's Bledson, first touch of the ball for the debutant. Backing it down, his first shot is rejected, and he's turned it over. Not the best of starts.
No, and it's always a tough one too when you're the new player. You want to impress straight away. But a block shot on a turnover isn't the welcome party you'd want, Dan?
No, not really. Eichelroth. Graham kicks it out. Eichelroth. Out to Polite for 3. Knocks it down.
Yeah, good basketball from Surrey there. It was the penetration kick that got the Leicester Riders defense to shift.
Johnson. Looking for room along the baseline. Has it knocked loose. Tosses it back in.
Good patience there from Keely Johnson. That's his first 2 points of this evening.
Well, as you said at the top, he sort of let it come to him last week. He's very assertive down the end. Lawrence, 5 on the shot clock, nice pass. Graham inside for the bucket.
Good movement off the ball there from Graham.
Bledson's going to let it fly for 3, and there's his first points for the Leicester Riders.
Unbelievable. Well, the confidence to pull up as well. That is an encouraging sign here for this Leicester Riders offense.
Polite misses, Graham going after it, keeps it alive, and eventually it's tipped in by Ronnie Polite.
Excellent energy there from Surrey 89ers on the glass. Riders have to come up with that one.
Johnson, Bledson, going for the mid-range. Lawrence to Graham for 2.
Oh, Graham's been excellent inside, isn't he? This goes about his business.
Johnson. Kicked out to Nduku. Has it knocked loose by Polite. Thrown, broken up. Great hand by Bournemouth Raffet, because Eichelroth was free for a lane to the basket there. Small call for the foul. Menzies going to check in for Leicester. And Nwankwo and Lilly coming in for Surrey. Super play by Bournemouth Rafe, because that would have been an easy layup.
Yeah, it's excellent awareness there. Bournemouth Rafe will compliment him a lot on his ability to score the basketball, but he does have this knack from the...
Oh, the tip from Menzies doesn't go somehow.
I don't know how they didn't drop
No,
down.
I'm not sure myself either. Lilly for 3 doesn't go. And Duku open, short on the 3. Nwankwo with the rebound.
It's a good pass and a good shot. Duku just wasn't able to knock it down.
Small looking for 3 and finding it. Isaiah Small, 9 points already in the game. Surrey lead by 10, and Leicester have to call for time.
Oh, Isaiah Small's got that versatile offensive game where he can put points on the board in really short spurts there. And again, he's a player you have to guard from the 3-point line, but he's got a confidence about him too. Look at this, just walks into that 3-point shot. Riders are going to have to provide some more resistance outside there, especially against a team like the 89ers.
Well, he doesn't shoot a lot of threes, Isaiah Small, maybe 2 a game, but he shoots them at a high enough clip that you've got to get all the way out there, as you say, 38, 39% from behind the arc. And I guess from Rob Paternostro's point of view, the concern at the minute is Surrey have 24 points and we played 7.5 minutes. It's a lot of offense.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, this is again, team been mixing up the defenses. You know, you'll go man to man or zone, and the worry is can Riders spend a lot of time in zone against this Surrey team and the way they shoot the ball from the 3-point line.
Flash making their way back out onto court. Be a Leicester ball from the end. Evie brings it over the halfway line. Lob too far away from Menzies. Small comes with the help. Small's pass out a lot there of Lilly, and turns it over. Bledson driving in, hard to the rim, through the contact, down 1.
Wow, Bledson, he looks very comfortable in the offensive end of the floor, doesn't he? How easy there, he was able to burst past the defender and then slows it down for the and 1 finish.
He didn't get too high up off the floor, but he didn't need to. Johnson is going to return. Small sitting down. I think that was on him, was it, that last foul? If it is, it's his second. Yeah, it is his second foul. Well, that's a blow with 9 points. Onto the bench in the first quarter.
Yeah, it is. He's been someone feeling really good about himself.
Lilly. Over to Polite. 5 on the clock here. Lily's got to be quick. Trying to create some room. Gets the shot away. Off the mark. Sholovinskas, does he get the rebound? No, Evie comes up with it.
Evie's done so well there.
Here's Johnson. Johnson with the lay-in.
See, defensive stop there from Riders, and they're able to capitalize on the other end of the floor, but
Sholovinskas. First shot of the game is good for 3.
Goodness me, well, we've seen him have some big days or nights in here over the years.
Foul is going to be on Polite the third. That is his second foul now. So that's Small and Polite, who are both on 2. And that is 16 of their 27 points. And you go back to it, the unsportsmanlike foul, he just didn't need to do anything.
No.
It's one of those where sometimes you get caught at mid-court or whatever, and you end up, you have to take it. The whistle had long since gone. It doesn't matter if he lays it in, it's not going to count.
Agreed, yeah. I'm sure he'd want to take it back if he could, Dan.
Well, my suspicion is he didn't understand the rules as well as the 3 officials did to know that you get an unsportsmanlike for a second foul on a play. I did see it once where the same player committed both the regular foul and the unsportsmanlike.
Oh, wow.
That was not very clever. Just flipped off the rim, but Menzies is able to get it, and it's going to be out of bounds for a Surrey ball. It's good work in the first place from Timmy Nwangwo just to make sure it didn't drift back in. Lawrence out to Lilly. Lawrence again. Stolen away by Johnson. That's a grab by Lawrence, and it's called for an unsportsmanlike foul. So that's going to be 2 in possession for Leicester.
Excellent defense from Keely Johnson. It's like he knew where Lawrence was going to go. See, he beats him to the spot there and then comes back. It's like he knew the cross back over behind the back was coming. Great anticipation there.
Well, he wasn't last man, so it must have been for no play on the ball. But they're in a bit of trouble here now, sorry, in terms of fouls, because that is Small, Polite, and Lawrence all on 2 fouls in the first quarter. 2 of them walking the tightrope of having unsportsmanlike, so if you picked up a technical or another unsportsmanlike,
yep,
you're out of the game. Having started the game so comfortably, and the first, I think 3 of the first 4 fouls were against Leicester, and so that must mean the last 6 are against Surrey. Although when you're giving away 2 on the same shot, away come Leicester. Johnson driving hard, and that's going to be on Lawrence.
Well, I think it's a good plan from Leicester Riders. I would be attacking if I was them. The long list of players that are in foul trouble. Yeah, I don't know why there's a question of that one. I think there's a lot of contact there.
I think the argument he's making was that at the other end of the floor, he thought there was the same amount of contact on one of his players, and there should have been a foul at the other end. I don't think he's disputing that was a foul.
Gotcha.
Keely Johnson makes them both, and Leicester, who were down by 10 at 24 to 14, have scored 10 of the last 13 to cut it to 3. Lilly round the screen, gets to the elbow, loves that shot, Keno Lilly Jr.
So good. It's the creation as well. He knows he's got a little bit of a space before the 7'3" center can block his shot.
Johnson, last few seconds here of the first quarter. Keely Johnson picks it up in an awkward place, has to take a shot, and that'll do it for the first quarter. Well, Surrey with 29 points on the board and the lead, but they have plenty to think about with 3 of their starting 5 on 2 fouls. It is Leicester 24, Surrey 29. Well, he's still arguing. I think he is arguing that it wasn't a foul on Lawrence, as well as the fact he thought it was a foul at the other end, although I'm not sure the replay confirmed that from where Lawrence was defensively, but that is where we are here, and he's the one who's got to deal with that. And you can see he spent 45 seconds of this 2-minute break seeking clarification, I think is the way to put it, but they've shot the ball really well. Surrey, what Leicester have done, they haven't shot well, but they've got to the line, 9 of 10 from the free throw line.
Yeah, and of course, the result of them getting to the line is putting pressure on the opposition and committing the fouls. And you know, you've got some key players there, namely Isaiah Small was sort of the first, wasn't he, to play victim to foul trouble here today, and he had an unbelievable first quarter here for his 9 points.
Well, that's the thing. You put Small, Polite, and Lawrence together. That's 18 of their points, 7 of their assists, and 4 of their rebounds. That's a lot of combined stats for 3 guys on 2 fouls.
There is, yeah, and again, it'll be interesting to see how Riders are able to possibly use this to their advantage in the second quarter. You know, do they remain aggressive and keep attacking the rim to put players under pressure and to contend shots? Because Surrey haven't done a great job defensively. You know, that's one thing you would have to identify. Yes, they put 29 points on the board, but they haven't been great defensively. I don't think they've stuck to defensive assignments. I think Travis Evie's went left a number of times as well. So it's you know, they give up offensive rebounds as well. So, you know, I think Coach Lloyd Gardner will be looking for ways that his team can improve as well on that end of the floor. But they find themselves up by 5. You know, they've not played particularly well on the defensive end, but they've scored almost 30 points in a quarter.
Well, that has a look of agree to disagree, the referee and the coach there at the end of that discussion. Here's Andrew Lawrence. Oh, it's dropped, and Evie's able to smuggle it away to Johnson. Letson thought about another 3, decided against it. Joyner into the key, tosses it up and in for his first points.
Wow, Joyner, good start for him. He's been someone who's been promoted from the BCB, the division below, with Loughborough Riders, and the word of is good for his confidence to score the ball early.
Oh, scored big numbers in BCB. They've helped really well onto. Oh, it's stolen right back though. Bledson's going to pull up for 3. Well, that's one you kind of have to make if you're going to take that shot.
Yeah, that's not the one, is it? Especially when you're
2 guys under the rim.
Yeah.
Lawrence misses the 3, bats it up in the air. Somehow Sholovinskas comes away with it, despite having 3 black shirts around him. Finds Lawrence, who'll go to the line for 2.
Oh, that's an exceptional effort there from Sholovinskas. How he's mustered another offense for his team is beyond me there. God, Aaron Menzies has to capture that one.
Well, Andrew Lawrence misses the front end of 2. Second one is good. Johnson. Evie. 5 on the clock here. Bledson drops it off to Menzies, pump fakes, and just about gets that to go.
Nice move there from Menzies. This time, the pump fake and the patience and the power gets us 2.
Lawrence drives in, drops it off to Graham for the score.
Graham has been unbelievable in there. 8 points for him personally.
Hand check foul against Sholovinskas. His first.
Relatively straightforward one that down.
Yeah, again, I think Lloyd is making the. I think his point was, if that's a foul, we want Keno, i.e. the same foul called for them at the other end. Johnson. It's an illegal screen on Menzies.
I don't know, Dan, is it?
Well, it's been called that, was the point. And you know what? I think that's just a big man screen. But let's have a look. I just think, I almost think that's one of them where and I'll go into the big man's union for you, Anne, where the little guy runs into the big guy and he comes off worse for it because, you know, Menzies is the biggest of big guys. And it's almost like the outcome has been, rather than was the screen bang on straight, looked a decent run for me, but referee was a lot closer than we are. Oh, I was wondering what he was waiting for. Lily, just shoot it. You know it's going in.
He is the last person you would have given that much time and space to on the floor here tonight. 46% three-point shooter.
Lawrence getting a good hand on that to knock it out of bounds. Paul Marafe going to check back in. Nduku looking for three, not finding them. 0 for 4, Victor Nduku. Lawrence back to Ogundengbe. Nduku is going to get a foul there for the bump. Michael Rock's going to return. Nduku becomes first Leicester player onto 2 fouls. Again, it's 3-1 on the foul count. Same thing happened in the first quarter, and then they all racked up against Surrey after that. Lily, 5 on the clock. Trying to find a little inch of space. Somehow scoops it up and in. What a finish from Keno Lilly Jr.
Unbelievable. Left hand, high off the glass. Unbelievable craft.
Johnson. Back to Bowman Rafe. Under pressure, gets his shot away. Martin with the rebound. There's a foul on the floor. I think it might be Graham, we'll see. 21 is the number shown to the table. It's only his first. Nduku and Ogundengbe are going to sit down. Johnson, little reach in from Idle Rock. Again, one of those where nothing good is going to come from that. Foul is on the floor. It's going to be a Leicester ball from the side.
Fouls continue to rack up for Surrey.
Ledson into Boardman Rafe, and the ball hit the line, so that'll be Niners ball. Lead back up to 9, peaked out at 10 in the first quarter. Chance to go past that now.
Yeah, worrying signs, I think, for Leicester Riders' offense at the moment too. They're just able to muster up 4 points so far this quarter.
Idle Rock backing down, using his strength, but leaves it short, and that will be forced home at the second attempt. And Rob Paternostre going to call for time here, as his team are down 11, 4 minutes into the second quarter. They had a good response out of the timeout in the first quarter. We'll be hoping for the same again this time around.
Yeah, just options just seem to dry up there, and sometimes this is a result as well of adding a new player, and you'd think that's quite bizarre because Ledson's been able to contribute in his own way with his 6 points, but the offense itself just looks laboured at the moment for Riders, and anything but laboured. The unbelievable move and layup there from Keno Lilly Jr. And I like this play here from Idle Rock as well. He was a late sign-in. You know, we've seen him be productive in this league previously. It's been a bit of a slow start for him this campaign, but his persistence paid off there and he got his 2.
Well, the other thing, I mean, you mentioned Bledson, and he has got 6 points and Johnson 8. The other thing is, at this time of year, is you kind of assume that everybody will know the whole playbook by now, and yet you've got guys just learning the plays, so suddenly you have to scale back everything that you could run into the stuff that you've managed to get into them by this point.
Yeah, 100% down. And there's also as well, when you're in those plays, you know, Bledson doesn't know where Nate Martin may like the ball or where Bowman Rafi may like the ball. Like, he hasn't played with them enough. This is his first outing with this team, and sometimes in practice you don't really get the full understanding of what players like in games.
Well, there was a play earlier I noticed where he just randomly went into the low post, and you could see Menzies coming across, and then he turned around and went back the other way, and it made me think Menzies was supposed to be there, but he realized that he had to get out of the way because Bledson was there. So he get another stop. Sholovinski's out running. Ball has to have a chance to go in. They're screaming for a goaltend, but it had no chance of going in. So it's not a goaltend if it can't go in. Martin's going to get the foul as Evie hits the 3. I think the call was before the shot.
Oh, that's frustrating too.
It is, yeah.
Travis Evie.
It's one of them. It's probably the right call. I didn't see it, but it's one of them that you go, does that really make a difference to anything? No. You can't run people over, but I think Rob Paternostro's just got a warning. He didn't realise he got it. He wasn't, I don't think he was even looking at the time that the warning was given. Lilly Jr. pulls up for another 3 and hits the bottom of the net. Once again, he's second of the game.
Well, that's a problem, that screen and roll. Lilly Jr., coming off the screen while Menzies is having to guard him and the big man. They'll look to do this a lot here while Menzies on the floor.
Here they go again. This time he backs away. Nwankwo's going to fire it up. I think that hit the shot clock. Yes, it did. So that'll be a Leicester ball. Looked good. We're right behind that. When it left his hand, that looked like it was going in.
Yeah, he was confidence to shoot it as well. Modern day game, Dan. Everyone's shooting threes.
Everybody shoots the 3. Bledson drops it off to Menzies. Oh, Graham thought he got a block. Referee's called a foul.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
No, I don't. It's his second.
I mean, I like to give the benefit of the doubt to the best shot blockers in the league, and Michael Graham, for me, is one of them. Look at this. Oh
my goodness.
Me. 2 players. I think I've got a shot block there.
Wow. Graham becomes the 4th starting 5 player on 2 fouls for Surrey. Menzies can only make 1 of 2. Oh, but Leicester have got it back.
I don't know how.
I don't know how Bledson came away with that ball. Murafay didn't call bank on that one, but it went in.
Wow, sometimes when you're down, you need a bit of fortune, and you got some fortune there.
Sholovinskis to Nwankwo, on to Graham, and he is in off the glass.
Oh, he's been excellent in there. Michael Graham takes him to 10 points personal.
Second Surrey player to get to double figures. Well, that's another turnover from Leicester. It's their 9th of the half, but there's been a few of them like that where just a slightly better execution and they would have scored.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Dan. Uncharacteristic ones as well. Bowman Rafe usually excellent there on the baseline, and Travis Evie really good at finding him.
Nwankwo on to Hogan Dengby. Eitelrock travel, lifted up that foot before the ball went down. Evie will amble across midcourt. Here's Menzies. Steps through. Good finish.
Great move there from Menzies, and he's going to have to play some extended minutes in this first half, in particular with Nate Martin on 2 fouls.
Levinskas. Rantogen Denby kept it high and knocked down the 3.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Textbook there, catch. Keep it high, let it go.
Johnson under pressure, off the glass, tough one.
Yeah, that is tough. You feel like when he picks up the ball there, he's got no options there. He's able to use that little bit of hang time there and control the finish.
Eitelrock left alone, misses the 3. Pullman Raffet is pushed in the back by Sholovinskas. And that is going to be his second foul.
Yeah, it's not a smart one as well. Team fouls for Leicester Riders now. Some Pullman Raffet get to walk the length of the floor here now to shoot 2 free throws.
So that is Small, Polite, Tyron Lawrence, Michael Graham, and now Neda Sholovinskas on 2 fouls for Surrey. If they all get to half-time on 2, it's probably not a problem.
No, but, you know, you just never know. When you get to that third quarter down, you pick up another one early.
Yeah.
And the coach has got to make the decision.
Pullman Raffet looking to become the second Leicester player into double figures. Keedy Johnson's got 10, and he's on 9 now. Gets it back into single figures at 38-47 with 3 to go to halftime. Lilly fires up the 3, got caught by Menzies, and he will go to the line for 3 free throws.
Wow, you can see just the desperation. Again, when you've got a player as good as Lilly Jr. from the 3-point line, you've got to get out there. And it's that landing space foul, isn't it? All right, 80% free throw shooter, the Brown University graduate. What a stellar season he's had so far. First pro year, 17 points per game, 46% from the 3-point line. He's had such a promising start to his pro career.
Well, he's the leading scorer in the game after these 2 free throws. There were 4 players on 10. He's up to 12 now.
And he's got a patient, quiet, calmness about him as well. He isn't a guy that needs to come out and start firing straight away. He's let this game come to him. He sort of grown into the game as the game's got longer.
Menzies hands off to Pullman Raffet. Drives hard to the rim. Rebound Menzies. Trying to get it out to Evie. Does get it there eventually, and Evie hits the 3.
Oh, great work there from Menzies this time. Powers it through, they gets it out to Travis Evie. It seemed to take an eternity to get there, but when it got there, Travis Evie was locked and loaded.
Lilly kicks it across to Ogundenbe. Around it comes back to Lilly, trying to create some room. Finish, what a shot from Keno Lilly Jr.
Unbelievable, and good offense from Surrey as well. The ball swung all the way around, and it was in the corner there where Lilly Jr. got to create for himself.
Bledson under pressure, foul is called.
Well, that'll be the first free throw for Bledson in the SLB.
Well, this already Surrey's 3rd highest first half score of the season. They had 56 against Caledonia and 53 against Caledonia. Coming off the back of a 51 out the half against Manchester last week, a game they won comfortably. They got 52 here today. And it's really been quite comfortable looking, efficient offense, led by Lily, who's got 15 points, backed up by Graham, who's got 10 points and 12 rebounds, a double-double at halftime. And then the guys we haven't seen for ages, Polite and Small, who got them off to the early start.
Yeah, I don't ordinarily as well when Surrey lose games. It's not usually the offense that is the reason. It's the other end of the floor, and you can argue as well. You can outscore a team, which Surrey are comfortably doing at the moment. But for them, they are a team that can improve things on the defensive end. But offensively, Dan, they're one of the most potent, dangerous teams in the league. There's no concerns for me whatsoever from the offensive options for this Surrey 89ers team.
Well, teams making their way back out onto court here. 1:52 to go. 43-52, the Surrey lead. They've won here twice already this season, as I said at the top. The away team has won every meeting between these sides so far this year.
Yeah, what a bizarre stat that is as well. Who needs home court, huh? I mean, both of these two teams have better home records than away ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this fixture, complete opposite.
Andrew Lawrence to Lily. 5. Lily's got a little bit of shot clock to work with, gets it away off the mark, and Evie let it go out of bounds.
Good defense there from Keely Johnson. You saw what he did. He was on high pressure, but then when the shot came, he knew that he was off balance and didn't want to risk jumping in that landing space.
Hogan Dengby with a little grab on Bledson, and that's, again, you talked about it earlier. It's not the smartest foul from the most experienced player on the 89ers team.
Especially as this Riders team as well. Their offense isn't exactly flowing at the moment as well, and they're getting opportunities to get to the free throw line, which they've shot the ball well. 14 for 16 today. Excuse me, made that 15 for 17.
Bledson is 4 of 4, and this is a chance for him to get into double figures at 10. Not taken. Eitel Rock gets his man in the air. Well, late whistle, but I think it's the right call.
I agree.
Menzies looked to have clobbered him there.
The reaction to the Surrey bench there as well.
It's the third now on Menzies. He's one of them with 1:10 to go. Do you take him out? But obviously, because you don't want him to get 4, but the logic would be you bring Martin back in. You don't want him to get a third.
No. I mean, this is the instance too where you do miss a Suleiman, because he could then fill in the gap there, and you could play small for a period of time.
Well, they're actually going to go to Akinsiku to come in, so they are going small as Menzies checks out. Sorry.
This is good too. You see some young British talent on the floor at the moment, and Wanku, and as you say, introductions of Nkinsu as well. Excuse me.
Here is Akinsiku. Hands it off to Evie. Well, that's a heck of a pass across to Johnson. Johnson drives in and lays it in.
Wow. Elevation there from Keely Johnson. Such an athlete.
Lawrence looking for 3 and finding them. 57 points now. This is Surrey's second highest score all time at halftime. It's obviously only their second season, but it's still a big score. Here's Johnson driving in. He lays it in off the glass.
Unbelievable finish.
Well, they got 60 against Cheshire in April as their best halftime score. They can match that today with a bucket here. Lilly spinning, and 0.7 seconds left. The foul is called against Keedy Johnson. So Lilly will go to the line for 2.
Oh, I don't know about that one, Dan.
First foul on Keedy Johnson. Ensures the second highest score for the Niners at halftime. .7. There's not a great deal you can do full court. And the shot was after the buzzer. Anyway, that'll do it for the first half. 59 points for Lloyd Gardner and his Surrey 89ers. They have an 11-point lead at the half, and offensively, they've looked great out, no matter who's out there.
They have. What's the record at halftime for Surrey 89ers?
60.
60, okay, yeah. I mean, that looked as good as it could be for this offense. And the scary thing is, Dan, they had a lot of firepower on the bench there in foul trouble. So goodness knows what the score could be if some of those players had played some more minutes in that first half.
Well, that's the interesting thing is Small, Polite, and Lawrence all played less than 8 minutes. Now, they've been sat for a long time, so that always throws you out of sync, but they've shot the ball really, really well. And they've got to the free throw line and made plenty of shots as well. Both teams making plenty of free throws in the first half.
Yeah, it's a game, a lot of free throws, isn't it? It's been one of those types of games and hasn't really been that free throw on one, especially in the second quarter. But yeah, both healthy percentages there.
Graham, by the way, with 12 of the 24 rebounds they had, half the team's offense is pretty good production from the man in the middle. And well, Leicester have kind of been chasing it all the way through. Surrey got out to 10. Leicester pulled it right back down to a shot or so, and then it went back out to double figures, and Leicester haven't been able to pull it back the second time yet.
Now, you feel like they were holding on there as well. I thought that three there off the screen from Andrew Lawrence was the dagger. I thought if Leicester Riders could get a stop there and a score, it doesn't look all that bad at half-time, but now they're in double-digit deficit here, and they're going to have a big second half here to be competitive with this Surrey team.
Well, they certainly have, and they've got to find some way of slowing Keno Lilly down for sure, because he's looked absolutely sensational in the first half. Ant and I will be back with the second half action in a few minutes' time.
From an age I can't remember, my dream was to be a professional athlete. That was always what I wanted to do. At the time, it was football, be a pro, play in the Premier League. But when I picked up a basketball, it was like, right, I want to do this professionally, and I want to do everything I can to make it happen. Trying so many sports as a kid, I didn't really know which one I wanted to be a professional at. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. I always had self-belief. I always, no matter kind of what age, I always thought, why not me? Why can't I be the person that does it? I think spending some time when I was at Barking Abbey and spending some time with some pros that had also, like some alumni that had been at the academy and that had come back, kind of just to give back and work out with us, and seeing them and speaking to them, it kind of made me realize that I'm on a similar pathway to them, but also, like I said before, why can't I be the person that is able to go on and do those things. Before I went to Canada, the last game I played at home would have been 5 years ago. So that was definitely something I missed when I went away to Canada, was having my family there, having friends and family come and support, obviously being far from home as well. So it means the world to be back in my country, to be able to play and have my family at my games, and it really means a lot. After I finished up my senior year in Canada, there was a period of unknown, not knowing where I'd be. It was always in the back of my mind to come home. So when I first found out that Leicester was interested, I was obviously stoked. Knowing that a club of that caliber was interested in me was amazing, and it got me really fired up and excited, made me want to come home even more. But the main thing is I want to be a part of the history of this club and say that I managed to help Leicester win another title. Want to inspire the next generation to think, why can't it be them? That's the next British kid in the league. For there to be British players in the league that are contributing to their teams and are helping their teams win, I think means a lot. Obviously, it's great having Americans and having other nationalities because of the talent that they bring to the league. But for the reasons we mentioned earlier, in terms of connecting with the fans and connecting with other British players in the next generation, I think it's great that there's so many British players in the league that want to be here and want to play for their respective clubs, and it definitely is helping put British players more on the map.
Basketball here at the AO Arena.
The 2026 Super League Cup Final is underway. Harrison drains the three. Gale to the basket. Out to Hottinger. Three is good for Hottinger. Lewis spins to the basket. Great finish off the glass. Ciara finishes under the basket. Gale dancing around the outside, steps back, and will do it. The Sheffield Hatters are your 2026 Cup Final winners.
This has all the right ingredients to be a fantastic final.
Speed from Phillip getting to the rim. To the spin move, what a finish from Gabe Osamoy. Steps away, Johnson splashes, another three. Jordan Johnson is on fire here in the final. There's McGusty and he's fouled as well. Jordan Johnson again. What a play from Tariq Phillip. McGusty does go on McGusty from the elbow, and it is London who've made it 2 from 2. They are the Cup champions.
The programme was created primarily because we see, the responsibility we have to the development of youth basketball within the country. I think, the professional game within this country needs to understand its responsibility to growing basketball. Player development program primarily is for people that are already playing at a level. They may already be playing for National League teams, whether that's, in and around the Surrey area, whether that's further afield, whether, over the future, whether that's playing teams for clubs that are the Surrey 89ers. But it's being able to access either, at certain points during the year, whether that's, performance camps or travel teams, or even remotely programs that we're trying to put together. So it's trying to, add addition to what clubs are being able to do and resources that clubs are able to provide. Thinking of areas like strength and conditioning, mental performance, expertise that we have within our club, and perhaps those junior teams or people from areas that don't have a structure locally to them that they can plug into. Hopefully this is a way that they can, experience a more elite level, something that will help them develop outside of their clubs or in hours that their clubs can't provide.
I think here was the best place, because then immediately I'm like practicing with pros. As soon as I came here, Lloyd was like, the practice on Tuesday, be there. That was it. And I was like, yeah, I'm straight into the system. In fact, last year I used to be skinny, so, lifting weights, having access to the gym, cardio, stuff like that, makes me be at the level to be at the pros. But then now it's time to, get the experience and stuff up. I say, it's one of the top pathways due to the coaching.
The goal is to lift the level of basketball on a broader spectrum. So, by helping youth players across the country or within Surrey, is hoping to lift the level of junior players. I think everything is connected. That's sort of something that we understand. The better the level of the base, the better the level of professional players coming into our game. The better the level of the professional players, the better British basketball is in the wider world. And the better the level of our national team, that increases the profile for both our league and the national team, which I think go hand in hand, and they can support each other to grow the game, to make it more commercially sustainable, to make it bigger, to make it better in every level.
Obviously, training with the pros every day, you learn quick and you get better much quicker. So yeah, it definitely felt like a whole different level. Lloyd, of course, as a coach, he looks after the youth. I would say Dan too, they both mentally, they're really locked in on helping the youth of British basketball. So I knew it was a good choice.
I would say the message is it's a tough road. I think that that can't be underestimated, how difficult it is to be a professional, but the only way that you can get there is through hard work. And I think that, as we said at this moment in time, there is it's a struggle for certain players to get the opportunities needed. Court time, expertise, the overall program of what they need. Touched on video analysis, strength and conditioning, mental, development as well. So programs like this hopefully can help fill some of those gaps that there currently are in the UK. And I think over time, again, we want every team, every club, every opportunity to be great, that everybody across the country can access things, whether that's with us or with somebody else.
Super League basketball is leveling up British hoops. This isn't just a league, it's a movement you can feel and see in the stands. From the first tip to the final buzzer, the story is written. Every drive, every shot, and every moment. Rivalries run deeper, games hit harder. One pass, one dunk, everything can shift. Legacies aren't given here, they're earned. New stories are ready, and new champions are coming. Season 2 is here. Stand tall for British basketball.
Welcome back to the Mattioli Arena in Leicester, where Surrey have the lead at the moment and looking good value for that lead.
They are, yeah. Offensively, they just look too good a form at the moment, and Riders have tried to switch things up defensively, but nothing's really remedied their sharp shooting. The Warriors as well, they've had some players on the bench in foul trouble that will look to insert themselves in this game in the second half.
Well, that will be the challenge for Leicester, just to try and slow down this offensive juggernaut. 59 points at halftime. Leicester, remember, if they win today, will book themselves a place in the playoffs, although they might not need to win, because that Caledonian score would end the Scottish team's chances of catching Leicester. It seems unlikely they're going to overturn 35 points in less than a half. but you never know. But Leicester would be trying to do it themselves. The other two results not doing Leicester or even Surrey many favours, with Bristol beating London at the minute, Newcastle ahead of Manchester. Both those games already started the second half.
Yeah, so clustered in the middle of that league table, Dan. It's going to be a really interesting finish here now.
It certainly is. Of course, Leicester have to go to Caledonia. Well, they'll head up tomorrow, but they're playing on Sunday. Packed slate of games, just coming thick and fast at this time of year.
Yeah, and it's a fun time to play as well, especially if you're on that road up to the playoffs as well. This is a very newly formed Leicester Riders team, so they'll be trying to find themselves out and how good are they going to be in the playoffs. And Surrey 89ers as well. We've seen them play some very good games this year. They have dropped some games that perhaps you'd think they'd win, but does that mean that they're hardening themselves now ahead of the playoffs? So the repetitions are good for each team.
Of course, no team wants to finish 8th and face the champions London in the first round of the playoffs, so they're trying to scramble up out of that way. But obviously, the higher you go, in theory, it gets easier. But given how tight everything is, I'm not sure there is an easier seeding, even if you do get up.
No, but first objective is to try and finish as high as possible, Dan, just like any other year.
Underway in the second half, Leicester with the opening possession, and Johnson all the way to the rim, too strong on that one, tipped up. Martin gets a hand on it, grabs it second time, still can't convert. Leicester still have the ball. Evie going to fire up the three, and they get their points in the end, Leicester.
Wow, Travis Evie just shoots the ball so easy. He wanted to pass the ball. There wasn't a better option on that, so he just shoots it. Probably need him to be a little bit more aggressive from out there.
Here's Polite. Around the screen. 5 on the clock. Lawrence has to work quick here. Tyron Lawrence gets it away, misses the three, and rebound Evie.
That's an interesting point you may have made as well, Dan, is that, players that were hot in the first quarter, second quarter, after being in foul trouble, you can lose your rhythm there.
Well, Graham did enough there to put Martin off.
Graham's a big X factor, Dan.
Yeah.
You see players attack the rim, and Graham he changes shots, and when he's finishing around the rim like this, 12 points personal for him. He has a double-double already, 12 points, 12 rebounds. But when players attack him, they're wary of his presence.
Johnson. Morgan Raffay getting the man on his back as he loves to do. It's through the hands of Nduku, who's holding his face. I don't know if he got caught in the eye or something, but because he got hit in the head, the referee stopped the game. Well, the ball came to him. Small put a hand out. I think the ball hit him in the face.
Yeah.
Lawrence. Graham spins. Polite drives in and throws it home for two.
That's a great finish, isn't it? He's able to adjust his body there. I think he might have got hit too, Dan.
He certainly thought he got hit. He didn't even watch the ball go in. He was turning around asking where the foul was. Foul is called on Graham, and he's got 3. Well, I don't think Leicester will be too concerned to see him going to the bench.
No, he has the most dominant plus-minus of any player on the floor. Plus 13 for Michael Graham. Plus 15, excuse me. Wow, was he?
Well, they're 12 up, so it means that rest of the time he's been on the floor, they've only won by 3. Here's Nduku. Sorry, they've lost by 3. Out of bounds off Martin. It's going to be a Surrey ball.
Yeah, again, I would question that one. felt like it came off Taron Lawrence last. Referee had a good angle, good look at it there.
Small, deep one for 3, front iron. The Wankwa going over the top is called for the foul.
Good energy though from the Wankwa. You want him to do that. You want him to go after everything.
Well, everybody else has got fouled, so he might.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, why
party.
not?
It's literally everybody who's stepped on court now has got. Oh no, Lawrence hasn't. Oh, Lawrence has got 2. Of course he has. Here's Keedy Johnson to the rim, tipped out. Lily out in front, Bournemouth Rafe chasing back, and he does enough to put him off.
Excellent effort there from Bournemouth Rafe.
Keedy Johnson backed out, decides not to take the 3.
Basket saving play that, Dan, from Bournemouth Rafe.
Martin to the hook, doesn't get the bounce off the iron. Small. Lawrence drives baseline, hangs in the air, but he can't convert. Evie. Johnson looking for 3, and he hits.
Good find from Travis Evie. He again penetrates and is able to find his teammate to stepping in for that 3.
Polite, a long way short, but gets his own rebound. And that is it a foul? I think it's a foul. It's on Nate Martin. That's his 3rd. End line ball to the Niners. Polite gets it out to Lilly. Rebound Small, and he forces it back.
One of the best rebounders in the league, showing us why. Good activity on the glass there, nice putback from Small. Wow, Travis, he's just direct drive to the left side. And anyone who's watched the SLB this year will know that you want to keep Travis Evie off his left hand, and he just seemed to drive straight to that side, and it was a bump and finish there from Travis Evie. Makes it look so easy.
Well, I was just double checking you, Ant, as to whether one of the best rebounders in the league, I couldn't remember which way round Michael Graham and Isaiah Small were, because I knew they were 1 and 2, but it does just shaded for Small, so he is the best at the moment.
Really?
Only by 0.06 from Michael Graham.
That's what the numbers say. I know you're a numbers guy, Dan, but from an eye test, Michael Graham is the best rebounder in the SLB.
Well, you tell that to 8.9236. Here's Small inside, getting points on the board.
Small starting to heat up again.
Evie looking for 3 and finding it. It's such an automatic shot.
It is, isn't it? Easy shot too for Travis Evie, who's getting hot himself.
Lawrence drives in. Straight up in the air is Nduku.
Yeah, good defense.
Bledson. Evie. Looking for another one. Travis Evie! A 3rd 3.
Oh my goodness. Just like that, Danny's got to win 4. And we've got ourselves a ball game again here now.
Well, it felt like Surrey were pretty comfortable, but it doesn't show that on the scoreboard right now. Johnson. Oh, just give it to Evie and let him shoot.
Yeah, I was just
well, they went
say.
inside instead, and the foul is called on Johnson. this sideline ball. Well, I'm not sure what they're asking for. Lawrence is in deep discussion as to whether something else could have been called. I'm not really sure. He needs to come out of the game because Sholovinskas is coming in for him. Polite. Oh, Johnson's on the floor. Michael Rock. They're able to recover a little bit, Leicester, and Sholovinskas can't convert.
Riders have an opportunity here. They're knocking on the door.
Well, they've turned it over again.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's not a great pass there from Bledson, but how much of it as well is just the lack of connectivity on the offensive end with this very newly formed roster. Well, they had 9 turnovers at half-time, the Riders, and sitting on 12 now.
Small looking for 3, doesn't get it. Evie with the rebound. Oh, lovely pass to Nduku.
Unbelievable. Especially off the back of a couple turnovers. You sort of have that in your mind. You want to be a little bit safer for the next pass, but...
Right to the rim. It's the 5th assist of the game for Travis Evie, by the way.
That's me.
Johnson drives in, circuses one up in the hope that something goes his way, but it's out of bounds for a Surrey ball. Graham is back, Lilly is back, Small and Michael Rock sit down. Joyner's going to come in for Johnson. 4-point Surrey lead, they've led all game. Peaked out at 14. Ogundengbe. Polite lets it fly, doesn't go. Rebound just about for Joyner. Evie, deep one. Well, Coach Lloyd Gardner was aware of the concern there, a bit more than Mike Graham was. Got away with it. Polite drives hard through the contact, down 1.
Polite just looking to take over now, and we've seen him do this in games. He has an ability and a gravitas about him. Look at this. Sizes up the defender with a dribble and right to that right side there. And 1 Polite.
Well, Polite will get a break if he makes this free throw, because Andrew Lawrence is sat on the subs chair ready to come in. And he does convert. So that is 14 points now for him. 14 points, 5 assists, a couple of steals, 4 rebounds. Evie. Round to Joyner, puts it on the floor, drops it down. Boardman Rafe sells the fake and lays it in.
Good basketball there, good movement, extra pass there from Joyner, and we know how effective Boardman Rafe is on that baseline.
Oh, Lilly's got an inch of space. That's all he needs to knock down yet another 3.
Unbelievable. Lilly Jr. takes himself to 20 points.
Joyner gets fouled as he drives through. Andrew Lawrence call for his third. Small going to come in for Graham. Joyner will go to the line. He's already got a couple of points to his name. on a 2. Andrew Lawrence calls the play for the Surrey 89ers. Lilly beats his man to the elbow. That's basically a layup.
It is, yeah, he's so controlled of it as well. And again, he's not the biggest of guards, you know, he's the smallest player on the court yet. His offense is so big.
Bledson fires it up. Nobody in there for the offensive rebound, so it's an easy grab for Cholovinsel. He's got into a difficult spot though. Double teamed, it's not loose. Away come Leicester. Bledson drops it back to Boardman Raffay.
Great play there by Bledson and Boardman Raffay. Double team to create the turnover there. It's back to 7. Riders hanging around here.
Well, they won't want to get in the close situation at the end, sorry. After what happened last time, these two teams met. Bledson with a slap down across the wrists of Small.
Not a good foul. No. Not a good foul. I thought Victor Nduku did good enough there to have him further away from the basket for it to be a tough turnaround jump shot for Small.
Michael Rock back for Surrey. Leicester making a couple of changes as well. Well, 4 of the starting 5 are in double figures for Surrey. The only one who's not is Tyron Lawrence. Small makes a second. Arnie Polite, the third, will check in. Keno Lilly will sit down. The game's top scorer with 22 points. Feels like he's got more, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the weight of the makes, you're right. He's hit some big shots, hasn't he, in some pivotal parts of this game already.
Johnson, late shot clock, gets to the elbow, knocks it down.
Keely Johnson, 19 points personal for him.
Lawrence got to be quick, kicks it back out, not away in time, in fact, not even away. Small saw the lights on the buzzer and decided no point in throwing it up. Well, Leicester took a little bit out of that lead. They won that quarter by 6. They trailed by 7. You would say Surrey have been pretty comfortable in this game to this point, but they've not put the game away yet, Ant.
No, they haven't. I think they've given some hope there to Leicester Riders, and that's all you'd want really going into the fourth quarter, some hope, because Surrey have looked pretty dominant on the offensive end, but a really good third quarter there from the Leicester Riders, winning that one 26-20.
Well, Leicester may well be guaranteed a playoff place before this game finishes, because Caledonia are down 31 with 5 minutes to go. We saw an incredible comeback by Surrey here earlier in the season, nothing like 31 in 5 minutes. Surrey's shooting numbers have gone down a little touch, but again, it just feels like they're in control of this game.
Yeah, I think so, and I don't know, Surrey's offense did seem a little bit stagnant there. I mean, I think they were rescued a few times there in a number of periods of that game where the momentum could have swung. You know, Lilly Jr. really did step up there and make some plays. Polite, the third, also made some plays there in that third quarter, but you don't really feel that the offense is flowing as much. And sorry, just to add, I've got to add Isaiah Small as well. He was really, really impactful there at the start of that third quarter.
Well, Surrey fans, or fans from Surrey, from Guildford, not had too many successful trips to this part of the world in years gone by, but it seems to be a happy hunting ground since the Niners have come around.
Yeah.
They seem to win every time they come up here. since the 89ers came into being, and they're looking to add another one here, a third one this season, having one in the cup and already in the league. Polite lobbed up and jammed in by Isaiah Small.
Wow, elevation there from Small. He gets so high so quickly.
Menzies is absolutely grabbed there. See, that's one of those, it's a sort of hack-a-shack thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you sort of go, it is a massive grab just to keep him on the floor. And if he was 6'3" instead of 7'3", the referees would take a dimmer view on it.
Agreed.
And the curse of being the biggest of big men, I think, is Bournemouth Raffet, who will go to the line.
Who's not one of the biggest of the big men. So
No.
He's got the core there. The good aggressiveness from Bournemouth Raffet. That's what you want from him as well. You'd want him to continue to attack. And he's had a good evening so far. 14 points. He was...
You didn't even get it out, did you?
Perfect for the free throw line up to that point.
He makes it 6 of 7. And Dengby. Idle Rock right down the middle, trying to find enough room to lay it home. Menzies with the rebound, and Small reaching in, commits the foul. That's going to be his third. He's gone a long way from foul 2 to foul 3, although he spent most of it on the bench, to be fair.
Yeah, but what's not smart, Dan, is that Surrey have got 3 team fouls before we've even played a minute in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that one is unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
The other 2 you can live with, but that one's unnecessary.
Well, besides the fact we've already had about 150 free throws here today,
It feels like that, doesn't it? It's actually, we're under 40 still, Ant. Just the 39.
Wow.
23-16 in terms of takes each. Is Bledson looking for 3. Menzies with the rebound and kept it up high and threw it back in.
Yeah, that's great work there, and that's what Menzies has the ability to do. He's just out-muscled one of the best rebounders in the league. Snagged an offensive rebound and put it back.
Polite drives in, and Joyner got him, and again, that's one where you feel like Menzies had done a good job there, and Joyner didn't need to commit that foul.
No, I think Rob Paternoster will be looking at this tape and he'll be having some words with some of his team, because that's one of the worst things you can do on a rider's team is unnecessarily foul. But Polite does an amazing job. You know, Polite is one of those players this year where, again, he's very creative. They've got very creative guards in Polite. Lilly Jr., Lawrence as well. I know Lawrence has had maybe one of his quieter games, but I certainly remember the performance that Tyrone Lawrence had when Surrey beat Riders in here earlier this season. He took over the game in the fourth quarter. Big play after big play. But they've got such a creative lineup here, the Surrey 89ers team, and that's why I say, well, I'm not worried about their offense.
Joyner down to Bournemouth Raffet. He goes quick, tipped by Menzies and in.
Well, and that's what happens when Michael Graham has to come across to help and challenge that Bournemouth Raffet shot. That's where Menzies can clean up the glass there with the tip-ins and putbacks.
Oh, whose foot did that come off? It was Johnson, so it will stay with Lawrence. It'll be a Surrey ball with 6 on the clock. Polite gets it away. Oh, halfway down, but out.
That's as good of a miss as you can find there.
Bournemouth Raffet gets to the middle, hangs in the air and finishes.
So good at that, isn't he? So good. Just when you think there's no way he's going to get this one off, he does.
Oh, Leicester have got it back to 4. Polite snaking his way around for the basket.
It's even more so impressive from Polite the third there.
He's just done a blow the whistle symbol to the referee, which I think he's lucky the referee didn't see it. That would be visual dissent if you had spotted that. And it was he who got the unsportsmanlike, remember, in the first half. So if he gets a technical, his game is over. Keely Johnson will go to the line for 2. Makes the first. Back to 4. Oh, a deep one. Is short from Lily. Former Raffet has it ripped away by Small. Bledson chasing back. Small has him facing the wrong way, and Bledson commits the foul, so Isaiah Small will go to the line for 2.
Good active hands there from Isaiah Small, and again an excellent opportunity for Riders. They haven't really been able to crack this 4-point buffer, have they?
No. Well, they got to 10, they got it back to 4, they got out to 14, they got it back to 4. Oh, Small misses the front end. The one thing you say is both teams have shot really well from the free throw line. That is only the second missed free throw of the game by Surrey. Wow. 17 of 19. Leicester 20 of 25. So there may have been a lot of them, but most of them have gone in, and
yeah, and you know, we've seen both teams have troubles with the free throw line, of course, but
Surrey, remember a couple of weeks ago, yeah. Sheffield, they were 50%, oh man down here, you got to stop that, it's a head thing. 2 weeks ago, they were 50% from the free throw line in a game they lost in overtime, as Lawrence is struggling. I didn't quite see what happened to him. They shot really well last week from the free throw line.
I just remember that they played London, and
the Hackney.
Yeah, and they missed
a ton of them, didn't they?
Let's have a look. I think they had 2 free
throws. Oh, we ran into Menzies' elbow, which is not really what you want to be doing. Menzies wouldn't have even seen him trying to post up. Well, he looks a little shook up as he heads to the bench. Golovinskas will check back in.
Yeah, it's been a tough evening for Tyrone Lawrence, someone who typically averages 16 points a game. Just 2 points for him today. And a hit in the eye.
Well, the headband's come off, so that could be it. Here's Joyner. Stolen away, great hands from Lilly.
Really good hands.
Small running the floor, drops it off to Polite, who lays it home. Timeout is called, and now Boardman Raffet is on the floor. I don't know whether he's got a rogue arm to the face as well. Leicester have called a timeout. We'll have another look at it. He is getting back to his feet. It might well have been.
Yeah, offhand there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Off arm, excuse me, from Polite as he laid that one up. Oh, the injuries mount off. Look in the background there.
Spencer Johnson in the background in his boot. He's got a little scooter to help him get around. But he obviously had some heroics when these two teams last met in the crazy finish down at the sports park, and player of the month for March. But as you can see from the boot on his foot, not going to play any further part in this season. Keedy Johnson leading Leicester with 21, Keno Lilly Jr. with 22, and Polite the third also with 20. Well, 6:40 to go in a game that Surrey have led from tip to this point. Leicester trying to see if they can somehow scramble their way to another victory. They are guaranteed to be in the playoffs, Leicester, because Sheffield have won 113-75 against Caledonia, so that is the end of the chance of the team from East Kilbride of getting into the top 8. So the playoff places or teams have been confirmed, the order of which, apart from London, we don't know yet. Surrey will get the ball from the end. Polite lobs it up to Nwangwu. Got caught in two minds there, I think, whether to dunk or lay it in, and in the end did neither.
Yeah, he just didn't get a clean catch on that lob pass, did he?
Well, he had a spectacular highlight earlier in the season. We saw it in the opener of the show. Not quite that play. Johnson. Kicks it out, and Nduku for three. Knocks it down. Victor Nduku. He's had a rough shooting game, but his first three of the game.
Wow, showing mental maturity there when you miss shots, but you're still ready to make the next one. Great find there from Keedy Johnson.
Made some big ones late in the game against Caledonia a few weeks ago.
He did.
Polite almost loses it, recovers out to Lilly, needs to go up quick here, gets the shot away. Good work from Small to tip it loose, and Nduku has it, does he? No, it's a hell ball, Leicester possession.
Wow, both teams love the competitive nature now of both of these two teams who know that there's jeopardy here at stake. Errors will compound as you get closer to the end of regulation here. Riders again got themselves within 4, Dan.
Can they get it to a single possession? Not been a single possession, I think, since the opening few minutes of the game. They're trying to get it into Martin. He's fouled from behind, and they're over the limit, so that's 2 shots. 5:10 to go. That's the 5th foul in the quarter on Surrey. You talked about it, 3 in the first minute.
What comes and gets you, those needless fouls. You don't really want to be in team fouls this early, and you know, Ankle's defense, they're way too aggressive, trying to deny the entry path to Nate Martin.
Graham is on 4 fouls, which is why they haven't brought him back into the game just yet. Teo has shown he's more than capable of playing undersized at that position, and I'm sure that's what he'll do for the next few minutes at least. Well, it's down to 3. It's down to Small, who pushes it straight back to 5.
Yeah, mismatch down low there. You found Isaiah Small on Travis Evie, and that was an easy layup for him.
Bledson steps through to the finger roll. Martin with the tip. Can he keep it alive? Yes, he can. Trying to get it out. Finds Evie. Evie deep one. Off the mark. That's as far off the mark as he's been all game. That's just... I didn't think that was going to get to Teo, but it just got a hand to it, Johnson, and out of bounds. In fact, we're going to get a timeout here with 4:28 to go. Coach Lloyd Gardner going to call it and talk things over. 4:28 to go. They're still ahead. They've still got they still look like they can score every time down, don't they? That's the thing for me. It's, yeah, you can say, oh, Leicester have got it back to 5 or to 3 as they had on the previous play. But it feels like Surrey are going to score every time they get the ball.
It does, and you know, you look at Leicester Riders as well, and you think, where's the offense going to come from? I'm pretty comfortable Keely Johnson can supply the goods, but you're kind of seeing a first game, maybe, first game, how do you say it? First game adjustment here for Bledson. You know, he's trying to make something happen, but it's not come easy for him. He's 2 for 9 from the floor. Boban Raffing with his 17 points, and Travis Evie, of course, always has a big shot in him. So Riders are going to have to keep finding ways to score the basketball, but when you compare the two teams, Surrey 89ers look so much more comfortable in scoring the basketball. The last points that they had, the mismatch down low, Isaiah Small on Travis Evie, he literally just had to catch, turn and shoot a layup. Very different to the opposite side.
I guess they have got 85 points with 4:28 to go.
Yeah.
They're not short.
No.
But it feels a little easier at that end of the floor. Can't really quantify that. Into Small. Polite. He's got the mismatch here. Looking to use his speed and using it to great effect.
So good, isn't he, at that? Unbelievable. It's like he wants the contact, he wants to be bumped. It's irrelevant, really, because the outcome is a layup and a finish for Polite.
4 to play. Nduku for 3. Halfway down, batted out by Sholovinskas. Oh, the referee's pointed the other way. That looked like a definite Sholovinskas swipe. The referees are looking at each other. Nobody's going to overrule it. Sholovinskas looks a bit sheepish, actually.
Yeah.
Let's have another look. Let's make sure there isn't a deflection on the way. Well, maybe. It still looks like
Polite's trying to run to save it.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the Mr. Obvious is for me.
Yeah. Kick down to Sholovinskas. Ogundengbe spins back to the middle, throws it up. He can't do anything with it because it'd be a travel. Here's Johnson. Johnson down the middle. Great hands from Small, and it came off the legs of Johnson on the way out, and that will be a Surrey ball.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Hands there from Isaiah Small. Keely Johnson's done so well. He's done everything but score there. He's pushed the basketball.
Graham is back on his 4 fouls for Surrey with 3:31 to go. Chance to push it back out to 9 or 10. Polite. Into Graham. Oh my goodness! What a rejection that was!
Unbelievable!
Oh, wow! Oh my goodness! That is one of the blocks of the season.
Oh, it has to be. That was a real man's block as well, Dan. The timing, the strength as well to be able to... Look at this. He reacts straight away. Michael Graham thinks he's got a dunk, but Nate Martin is there and met him straight away. Unbelievable.
That was incredible. Here's Lilly looking for 3. Front iron, but it has enough to squeeze its way in, and Surrey are back into a double-figure lead with less than 3 to play.
Lilly Jr., 25 points, and that was the biggest shot so far he's made.
And here comes Surrey in the open court. Polite all the way, scoops it in, and it's 12 now, and Surrey look like they finally got the breathing space they need.
Well, you said it, Dan. I think you always looked like Surrey could score the basketball. And look at this one. This was the softest of touches there from Keno, Lilly Jr., and then Polite, who's been excellent all night at going to the basket.
Well, that's the thing. It's the two plays from the two guys who've been doing it all game. You know, Lilly hitting shots and Polite getting to the rim.
Yeah, and again, this will be probably the most dynamic guard you'll see outside of London this year. They're unbelievable in their ability to create for themselves and for each other. But again, scoring is not an issue ordinarily for the 89ers.
Well, they're on the brink of 100 for Surrey. They've only done that twice in club history. Again, small sample size, but they had 102 in January, 104 in April last year. Well, Leicester have climbed the mountain a few times today. They've never got to the summit. They got within sight of the summit and then slipped back down. And they're running out of time to do it once more. Johnson for three. Well, you wonder now if that is the race run as far as the riders are concerned on Grand National weekend. Just thinking about it as Lilly fires up another three, bats it out, and they've got another 14 seconds to tick off. Lawrence attacks. Well, he's not had too many looks at the basket, but he's got two there.
Yeah, it's a great take. Didn't settle for the pull-up jump shot. Instead, went all the way to the rim with the acrobatic finish.
Oh, tremendous hands from Polite. Lilly runs it down, throws it up. Nwankwo off the bottom of the rim, and away they come. Johnson, goaltend. Well, I don't know what they're jumping up and down for. You slap the backboard. You can't slap the backboard when the ball's got a chance of going in, but they were up on their feet, both on the bench and behind the bench. Must be a different angle from down there. Here's Lawrence. That's going to be a blocking foul on Boardman Raffay. Well, a chance for 100 for only the third time for Surrey since their formation last summer. It's into small. Well, Bledson committing a foul. I'm not quite sure why there. Down 12. Can't think that foul mode is the option here with 1:24 to go. Lawrence drives it in, throws it up. This time Nwankwo is able to tip it in, and 100 on the board. Boardman Raffay doesn't go for three. And they can take their time now. Sorry. Well, they've led all the way through the game. And they've looked reasonably comfortable, but once again, Leicester did not go away through any of it, and they made them run it up here at the end.
They did, yeah. It was a valiant push there, but it kind of looked like the race had been run though, and the fuel tank was teetering on empty. They couldn't quite find enough offense there to compete with this Surrey 89ers team who, seem like they're scoring for fun at times in this game.
Well, it might well end up their highest ever score. Ironically, the other 200s were on the road. One of them was here, the Cup quarter-final, as Joyner looks for 3 and finds it. The other one was on the road in Cheshire. They've not scored 100 at home, but they've done it 3 times away. One more score gives them their best ever. Lawrence, a little step away for 3, and they're not going to get it. They're going to fall short. Oh, well, maybe they will if this goes up quick. Curran misses. They can dribble it out. The points difference don't matter. They just get told to go over half court. He's not going to go. And that will do it. Time will expire. Second highest score in Surrey 89ers club history. And more importantly, a win and a head-to-head in their battle for playoff seeding.
Yeah, it's you know, you looked at the SLB league table, you'll see how close it is in the middle of the pack there and how important it is to be fighting for those higher seeds. And this is a massive win here for Surrey 89ers. I think when you look at the other results as well in the league, they will have very few evenings such as this that will have you know, which could have such an impact there on the seedings going forward.
Well, it could be a very good evening for Surrey, the way things are playing out now, and not a disastrous one for Leicester, because Manchester are back in front against Newcastle late in that game. London are, I think, just beaten Bristol, so it might not be the end of the world. Obviously, Caledonia losing guaranteed Leicester a spot in the playoffs anyway. So you can see 113-75 is the final score. 76-83 Bristol-London is a final score, and I believe they're in the last 30 seconds in Newcastle, and Manchester, who were down as many as 13, have the lead in that one. I think both Leicester and Surrey would be more than happy to see Manchester win that game right there, but plenty still to play for. We've got 4 more games coming this weekend, but Surrey, well, all they do at Mattioli these days is win.
That's it. They might want to, you know, bring up some fans and then use this as their home court for a few fixtures, because they play really well here. They shoot the ball well. They look very comfortable. But now, big win here for 89ers.
The reality is they got more shots than Leicester, 78-17. I know there's a bit of a differential in the free throw. It doesn't make up 7 shots, but they shot the ball better. Pretty even battle in the end on the rebounding. It felt like Surrey were winning that early on, but Leicester evened it up, and it was just really about making plays near the end there. But
that's it. That was the biggest, the turning point for me, is the making the plays down the end. You know, your Keno Lilly Jr. being able to ice out the game. You know, Ronald Polite III being able to take the ball to the basket. Excuse me. And then you always had the consistent flow there from Isaiah Small. Remember, he didn't play a whole second quarter. He finishes with 22 points. So you've had really good production there for those 3: Keno Lilly Jr., Polite III, and Small.
Yeah, I mean, and fair play. I mean, we said Leicester just kept coming. They got it back to 4. One time they got it to 3, and every time they got within shooting distance, Surrey came up with 2 or 3 plays. Maybe there was a Leicester turnover, or there was a missed shot, or whatever. Surrey were able to profit at the other end.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing as well, isn't it? I think Surrey's maturity as well, because we've seen teams as well fold, you know, being complete control of the game, and then all of a sudden they completely, you know, lose focus. A prime example was Surrey, the game they featured in last week against Manchester. Yeah. Manchester had complete control of the game in the third quarter, and Surrey were able to just stay around, kept it within 10, and then they end up winning that basketball game. So, you know, basketball's one of those sports, really, you can have 20 shots on goal and still come out the worst off. So it's a really good, I think, mature win from Surrey 89ers here. Leicester Riders, you know, be interested to see what happens for them here on out now, because they've got Bledson in there. You know, how does he settle in? He really didn't struggle to. He wasn't so struggle. He did struggle to impact it throughout the whole period of the game here. So can he do that?
Hotshot's retiring, by the way. Hotshot is retiring, which is why he's walked into the shot with his head off, which is cardinal rule. You don't do as a mascot, but Hotshot is retiring, so we got to say goodbye to him on the way out the door.
You got loads of children in your question if Father Christmas is real now.
I know.
Unbelievable.
What's he thinking? There we go. Forget the game. We've just had seen a headless mascot. What more could you want here on DAZN? We've got 4 more games for you coming up on Saturday, including Leicester's trip to East Kilbride. But for Ant Rowe, I'm Daniel Routledge. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.
Super League basketball is leveling up British hoops. This isn't just a league, it's a movement you can feel and see in the stands. From the first tip to the final buzzer, the story is written. Every drive, every shot, and every moment. Rivalries run deeper, games hit harder. One pass, one dunk, everything can shift. Legacies aren't given here, they're earned. New stories are ready, and new champions are coming. Season 2 is here. Stand tall for British basketball.